And we are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Are
Howdy.
we inviting?
Greetings.
All right, looks like everything is good, and we'll do this.
Now recording. Thank you, Evil Overlord.
All right, can you hear us? Is my volume okay?
There was a little touch of feedback, but I think otherwise you're all right.
All right. So, who wants to recap where we left off last time? Nobody?
Well, don't have everybody volunteer all at once.
I was just waiting for you to do it, sir.
Oh, of course you were. So, the inaugural session was set in Liberty, Montana, where a ragtag band of people who have absolutely nothing to do with one another have arrived for one reason or another. The scene opened with a man hanging from a tree behind a hotel. Screams of the dearly departed's next of kin were what woke up the town. And so a gambler and a huckster, and neither one of them will admit to being either, decided to investigate, while the others decided to do the good Christian thing and cut the man down, prepare him for burial, and those who had jobs went to them. And so, after a tumultuous day of investigation, work, and question, Sheriff of Liberty, Montana, arrived rather late and offered to the huckster and the gambler a position as deputy because they were making rather significant inroads into the investigation, finding evidence of a body being dragged throughout the town in the dead of night, evidence of old rope which was used to hang the man, and possibly the place where he fell the night before. Having decided to think upon it, they returned to the tavern, or excuse me, the saloon. Tavern is a different system entirely. And as everybody ate dinner or drank their calories away, Sunny, the cowhand, saw an interesting sight and then was directed to look down, where she found a shiny quarter. And as 2 bits means it's a lot of money in Liberty, Montana, she bent down to pick it up just in time to be missed being shot from outside in the street. Giving chase, Sunny, LP, and Evan all ran out after the gunman. Sunny was first, rounded the corner of a small house, and came face to face with 3 nasty hombres with guns ready to fire.
Indeed. And from the other part of town are Father James and Jalen, who were Father James was doing a service for the deceased, and Jalen happened to be saying some words when they heard the gunshot. They also went, well, Jalen went running over there. Father James was staying back with the corpse, I guess, the grave site. So with that, everybody draw your 3 fate chips, or a 4th if you get one.
Fate, it seems, is not very kind to me.
Did you get 3 white chips?
Yes, I currently have 1 red and 6 white chips.
I have 3 red and 4 whites.
I have 3 red and 4 whites.
I now have a blue, a red, and 4 whites.
Wow, apparently fate was nice to me. I have 2 whites, 2 reds, and a blue.
And I draw my 3. And the marshal gets red, white, and blue.
Of course.
Alright, so when we last left, Sonny was running out of the saloon across behind the First Bank of Liberty and rounded a corner by the house, and there, about 30 yards away, were 3 bushwhackers waiting, and they got the drop on Sonny. Sonny happened to be surprised, so she does not get any cards this turn. Unfortunately. Now what is fortunate is it is dim light, so it's not going to be as easy to hit Sonny when they open fire, and they are also 30 yards away, so that is quite a range for people with pistols. So as Sonny rounds the corner, you were chasing a figure with blonde hair. You caught just a brief glimpse of it darting around this house that you are turning the same corner of, and she is nowhere to be found. You do hear one of these masks, because they do have bandanas or handkerchiefs around their face, shouts, "There she is! Fire!" And they are each going to take a single shot, because that's all they are ready for at this moment themselves. And with the dim light and the range, they are at -4 to hit. So, gunman number 1 misses. Number 2 misses. And gunman number 3, they all miss. Apparently they were not the best shots here. Now, do you remember which deck you had all chosen for action cards?
I believe that was stone.
The top one? Right?
No, the top one is the one that we chose for our initiative deck. The middle one I thought was yours, Ag, and the bottom one was
Huckster?
where is he?
Yes.
The Hucksters.
Yes.
Evan's
So
deck.
the
Okay.
first one is initiative.
So death is initiative.
Yes.
All right, so everybody
Yes, because we're always going to die.
roll your quicknesses.
All of us?
Not you, you're not there, unless you wish to start heading that way.
Yes, but I'm not. What's the word we use? Crazy fast?
This is true.
Abnormally fast?
I think the word you were looking for was freakishly fast.
Freakishly, thank you. Yeah. Since everybody seems to be taking cover and whatnot, I will start making my way towards the gunshot, but at my pace. So, would you like me to roll initiative or just wait
No,
until I
not
get
yet.
there? Okay.
Alright, so as long as you didn't go bust, you get 1 card. You then get 1 card for rolling a 5, and 1 card for every 5 after that. So it looks like everybody... Oh, Jalen's going to get 1. Unless you wish to spend a chip to augment that. Everybody else will get 2,
1 card's fine.
and Sunny will have 3.
I suppose I will have to announce this early. I have drawn a Joker.
Is it the red or the black one?
I do believe it is the Black Joker.
Alright. You do not have a card sleeved at the moment, so you don't lose that, but you do lose the black joker, so just play it on the table. And with that, I get to draw a chip. And fate smiles on me. I get a red chip.
I believe this sets the tone for this encounter.
No, it doesn't. It sets the tone for your encounter.
LP just stumbles along the way.
It is not the consumption. I just had too much drink, that's all.
That's as good as any explanation, right?
It's the consumption.
Alright, we shall start with aces. Then move on to kings. Then queens.
I got a queen.
I have a queen.
Alright. What are the suits?
Heart.
Club.
Hearts beats club. Hearts may go first.
I am doing my shooting, correct? Yes, because I am shooting at anyone I see. Is there any modifiers? Are there
They
any
are
modifiers?
30 yards away. So what is your range increment? I believe it is 20. So you'll be at -1 for that. And -1 for dim light.
-2.
-2.
I lost my shooting. Hold on. There.
I say she ain't playing.
I think I done shot him, sir.
What is your total? 18?
Hmm.
That is a nice roll. That is a hit with 2 raises. So when you roll your damage and get your hit location, you may modify that location by plus or minus 2 points if it does move you into a better spot. So why don't you go ahead and roll that?
Lower gut.
Moving it up to a 9 keeps it in the lower guts. Taking it down to a 5 moves it to a leg.
No, let's keep it in the guts.
Sorry, nope. Even a 5 is lower guts too, so it's going to stay in the guts
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah, let's keep it in the guts.
However, 31 points of damage. They are size 6, so that is going to be 5 wounds. You shooting the middle one or the one on either end?
Let's go left.
All right, the one on the left. You snap your, you pause for a minute because you were surprised to see them as they take their shot at you, and then you bring your rifle up, fire a shot, and you manage to drop the one on the left. All right, Queen of Clubs.
All right. So I'm like just coming around the corner.
Yes, you are just getting around the corner. You heard 3 more gunshots in rapid succession, and then another one. As you are coming around the corner, you see Sunny with her rifle.
Can I find any kind of cover?
You can take cover behind this house, the corner of the house you're at.
Sure, let's do that. I'm sure the negatives to shoot are insane, but sure, he's gonna try his hand at his gun.
You have a pistol, right?
Yes,
So you will be at -4 at this distance.
I have my Colt Peacemaker. All right. Wait, where do I roll this at? On the weapons?
Nope. On your skill sheet.
On the skill. Okay. Oh, shooting. I see it. Oh, whoops. Sorry. I guess I have to probably type it in before I roll for the mine.
Yeah, we can modify that. There's a spot on the roll for the modifier, or dropping it down to a -4 brings you to a 3, which will miss unless you wish to spend a chip to modify that. Remember, a white
Not
chip will let you roll an extra die and hope you get higher. A red or a blue will let you roll an add.
not this range. Maybe if it was closer, but I'll be fine. I'll take the miss.
All right. That was queens. Jacks.
I have a jack as well.
I do too. What is your suit?
Spade.
You go first.
Can I move any closer or and still get cover?
There's not much cover there. If you look on the map, you're kind of in that clearing spot. This is the house that you're taking cover on, and they are off over that way, so there's not a whole lot more cover in between.
Okay. All right. Sure. Let's take another shot. All right, and this is the -4. Right?
You shooting at the one on the left or the one on the right?
The left. And not any better. You said what's the red ones will give you a new a draw.
Yeah, if you use a red or a blue, you roll one of the same die you rolled and add it to your total. But I get a draw if you roll a red. If you use a blue, I do not get a draw.
Let's play around. Let's try. Let's go ahead and do a red.
All right. So go ahead and roll another d8.
Add 5. It's only 7.
7 will hit.
Woot.
So now's where you roll your damage. It is not with a raise, so your hit location will stay what it is.
Okay. where's the hit location roll?
It rolls automatically.
It does.
Yep,
From
just
where?
roll your damage.
Oh, I see. That
20 points. That is 3.
I guess their guts are just easy targets for us.
Yes, they are. It just so happens that as you take your shot, a stray bit of moonlight happens to get into your eye and throws your hand off just a bit. I'm going to spend a red chip to negate 2 of those wounds, so he is only going to take 1. And then on mine, Jack of Diamonds, they were not expecting one of them to go down quite as quickly, so they are going to turn and run. I ain't signed up for this. Let's get out of here. So on Jacks, they are running. That brings us to 10. 9s.
Jalen is a 9, and he's got a pace of 12, so up to 24. He'll be moving toward the sounds of the gunfire.
Okay. Let's see, you are further away, so that distance will get you also around the house. Just in time, as you're coming up the house, you see, I don't know if you've actually met, so you might not know his name, but you see one of the gentlemen standing at the corner of the house taking a shot, and the young lady kind of standing out in the open with her rifle raised. And you probably hear the tail end of that, let's get out of here. And on a 9, they continue. So they are flat out running their full pace this turn. Double their pace actually, because they are running. 8s. 7s. 6.
I have a 6 of clubs.
Alright, Mr. 6 of clubs.
I believe all I can do at this time is move my pace of 6, catch up with everybody else, and watch the shrinking forms of 2 yellow-bellied cowards running on away.
Yes. They were hoping for a bit of surprise to take down their target and not lose one of their people in the opening volley.
Well, surprise does go both ways.
5s. 4.
4. Well, they did turn tail, but they also did take a shot at me, so I'm kind of inclined to go after him. And I have a regular pace of 12. So if I run,
Well, they started 30 yards away. They are not quite as fast as you, so you can close the distance if you run, but you might be doing it on your own.
she'll probably run and see if she can catch up. But if they kind of turn a corner and she loses him in the dark, that's perfectly reasonable. She's not going to go hunting him down, but she is in a snit.
Yeah, on the outskirts, in all directions, are the people that live in tents, so they are heading towards one of the tent cities, for lack of a better word. So it won't take long before they can get lost in that mess.
So yeah, like I said, she'll take off after him, but then we'll give up the pursuit, and then turn around and head back the way she just came back to the saloon.
All right, so you chase off after him. We don't have to draw any more cards at this point. The marshal also turns the corner at that time, and what's going on?
What's going on? Where have you been? You've got people being murdered, hanging from trees, and now you three men just tried to shoot me for no reason.
Also, the person that was in the tried to shoot you through the window too.
Yes, another person tried to shoot me through the window too. I don't know why they pay you, Marshal. You're never here to protect anybody.
What I would like to know is why there are 4 people gunning for your head, miss.
Well, I don't know why people are trying to shoot me. I've never done nothing to anybody.
4 people seem to disagree.
Well, let's see who one of them is. You downed one. I'm gonna go check to see who the
And
Galen would be
masked
seeing
man.
to the one that was fallen.
and Sonny's just going to level that gentleman with a stare. And that gentleman being LP. Because she has not been properly introduced yet. She doesn't know who he is.
And he doesn't know who you are. So I suppose we have a stare down. Although LP seems more bemused than anything else.
And the
Sonny
marshal
is not-
just not the marshal, the sheriff. There's a difference. Just kind of glares at you slightly, but she's more concerned now that there is a body, so she is headed that way.
Sheriff, they did open fire first the moment that she came around the corner. She was not provoking them from what I saw.
So an ambush, 3-on-1.
It should have been 4.
She was chasing the one that shot through the window, and on my guess, it was to get her out in the open.
She kind of scratches her chin as she moves up. She's not running, so Jalen probably gets to the body first.
Is he still temporarily breathing?
No, he's dead. He is laying down kind of at a awkward angle with just in a slowly spreading pool of blood. Looks
Pull
like
his
a
bandana down.
bullet got him on his innards in a pretty vital spot. Alright, pulling his bandana down, he looks like a youngish fellow. Maybe not long past his teens. A few bad teeth. No scars to speak of. Kind of a dark brown hair.
Not recognized. Not familiar.
No, not familiar.
Poor kid.
Father, I
Yep.
think this one needs your attentions.
Father's not there yet.
I thought he was approaching.
Yeah, he's approaching. You guys ran, he didn't.
Well, Sonny's going to break that stare down with the son of the gentleman, and she's going to walk over and just take a look and see if she recognizes this person, because if he's shooting her, maybe she does.
Give me a cognition check at a -4. Nah, you don't recognize him.
Nope.
Hmm.
Yeah, she'll say, I've never seen that boy in my life. I'll be in the saloon if y'all need me. She's going to turn and walk away.
The sheriff speaks up. And you don't know why they'd be gunning for you? Haven't
No.
upset anybody recently?
No, Sheriff, I haven't. I get up, I go do my work on the ranch, I come home, have a drink and a hot meal, go to bed. That's it. That's my life here in Liberty.
She's got a slightly puzzled look on her face, but she doesn't say anything else.
Well, if that's all, as I said, I'll be in the saloon.
We got witnesses say you didn't draw first, so want no crime committed by you at the moment. Sorry about the inconvenience.
Tip my hat to Sheriff and all the gathered gentlemen and walk back.
Well, LP will holster his pistol and grab his pipe, start packing it with tobacco, and take a look around towards the back of the house because there was supposed to be that woman that had the rifle, and now she is not here, which means she should be nearby.
I forget. Did she scream anything out or anything last week when she made the shot, or no?
No.
Okay.
Nobody knows why. Uh, the lady just decided to kind of lean down at the floor and pick something up. She knows why she did, but everybody in the room just nothing significant happened to do that. She was kind of, I believe she was sitting with a drink in front of her.
I was having my meal and having a drink, and yes, then I was prompted to bend down and pick up a.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I will inform the sheriff of everything I witnessed. Let her know the sort of flow of what happened. But there was a woman as well as these three shooters who vanished when we came around the. I'm pretty sure I might have wounded another one when they went running, or before they went running.
I'll talk to Doc Ross in the morning and see if have him keep an eye out if anybody comes to him for tendon of a bullet wound. Either of you mind helping me get this gentleman to the Undertaker?
No problem, Sheriff.
Yeah. Or
He does have a gun holster that is empty. His gun is laying on the floor. So first thing she does is take that off of him, kind of wrap it over her shoulder, and then she grabs the arms, waits for somebody to get the legs. Since you're not too far from the Undertaker, I don't think. The building's right there next door to you guys.
Evan will kind of look down and then realize he's really bloody and messy. He's like,
And she looks over as she's going to LP, because I think LP was a bit over by the house, right? Or looking around. And to Evan. Please consider my offer. Alright, LP. This lady was nowhere in sight around here. Now, she got to that corner before anybody got out of the hotel, so she had time to run. She may have run in the same direction that the other two bolted in.
Well, what would I have to roll in order to ascertain the direction of any footprints she might have made?
That would be a track and roll.
Well, let's see what I have for that.
And with the light and the darkness, it'd be at a -2.
It would have been a 4.
Yeah, looking around, it's hard dirt. It is middle of September, so there's not much fresh stuff growing. Everything is slowly starting its dying off period, so it's kind of hard packed. You see a few scuffs, but it's hard to tell if those were made by this particular encounter, the people going back and forth right now.
Well, LP will still take a closer look at those scuff marks, take a puff from his pipe, cough once or twice. Something's curious about this. It's gained his interest, but he's not quite sure where it's going yet.
Either anybody that's helping her get him to the Undertaker wish to do anything? Because she is going to spend a little bit of time checking this body over. But if not, we can move ahead.
No, Evan doesn't want to stay in the Undertaker's room any longer than he has to. And if his suit got messed up, he has to go change. Anyways, he probably did, so he's gonna go change.
It probably did.
Yeah, he's gonna change.
Alright, so the rest of that night passes without anybody jumping out of shadows to shoot at people.
Well, that's exciting.
And I presume everybody retires to their respective hotel room or boarding house room.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. In the morning, this is as the sun is, it's been up a little bit. It's still fairly early. I know ranch hands get up early. The town itself gets up a little early, but not, that early. But as everybody is waking up and getting ready for their day, there is the sound of a large group of horses trotting into town or walking into town. So it's easy to hear outside of windows.
Well, that'll certainly wake up LP from another night of fitful sleep. He will roll to his feet off of the bed and stagger over to the window to have a look-see at the latest happenings in the town of Liberty, Montana.
There are, looking out, I believe LP's window looked out towards the back. So his
Yes.
window doesn't really show anything. It does show that there is nobody hanging from that tree this morning, though.
That is still important.
Yes.
And Sunny could hear this as well.
Yes, Sunny can hear this as well.
And she'll look out her window.
It happens to be closer to the boarding house. Coming down the road from the northeast is about a dozen people on horseback. There is a buggy as well. Now, probably a carriage that is pulled by a team of 4 horses. The people on horseback are armed. It looks like they are guards of some sort. They seem to be looking around. I mean, not professional like, but they're, scanning the area carefully. About 8 of them are ahead of the carriage, and the other 4 are behind it.
Wow, this looks like somebody really important. I guess Sonny's going to run down to get onto the street to watch this parade go by.
The horses, they move down the street towards the saloon and hotel. When the carriage gets there, the people on horseback kind of spread out a little bit. Again, they don't look professional. The horses are moving. These horses look like work horses. They're not trained cavalry or anything. But the carriage, the driver gets down and opens up the door, and out steps a gentleman in kind of tall, gray hair, bushy mustache. For the audience that was privy to the hanging at the start of ours, this is the same gentleman that announced himself as duly appointed marshal of the town and presented the sentencing. To everybody else, this is Stapleton Lowell. He is in charge of the Lowell Cattle Company, and he is the head of the Cattlemen's Association in town and head of the town council.
Ew.
Of the cattle barons in and of the town, he is the only one that maintains a residence in town. The others don't, but he was not coming from his residence. He seemed to be coming from his ranch. And as he walks into the hotel, his men then finally dismount, start tying up their horses, and a few of them start to scatter. Looks like a couple of them go down the road to the lawyer's office, for anybody that can see, which is the building just southeast of the hotel. One of them also goes to the dentist's office, which is a bit further down that same street. And it's, you know, the few, when they get to the anything that is an office that's not presently open, they start knocking. They seem to be up to something.
Indeed. It seems to have been waking up LP, so he's going to take his time getting ready. By the time all this hullabaloo is done, he's going to be at the top of the staircase with his coat and his hat and his 2 6-shooters.
As LP is getting to the top of the stairs, you can hear the sound of tables being slid across the floor.
Curious.
And at the top of the stairs, you start to hear the conversation of chatter. Yes, we need a town meeting. We had a hanging yesterday. I want to know what's going on. We need to organize a posse to find out who is the murderer. Well, I understand, Mr. Lowell. We'll get it going. What time do you want to start? I want to start as soon as possible, but since people are still sleeping, we will have to wait. So, let's set it for 10 a.m. That's fine, Mr. Lowell. That's fine. 10 a.m. And then that is the voice that was responding as starts to bark orders to workers at the hotel. Now get those floors clean. We need to be ready. We're gonna be expecting a few people here.
I'm actually going to go ahead and head down. Let's see. I'm going to head to the sheriff's office.
Okay.
I'm assuming some of the guy's men have already been there.
You're coming from the boarding house, right?
Yes.
You don't see anybody going or coming from there as you're making your way that way.
Okay. I will head on in. I'm assuming it's open. Assuming it is open.
It is open. She seems to be sitting at her desk with a couple sheets of paper and a pen, and she seems to be writing something out. She
Good
glances
morning.
up. Oh, good morning.
There's some commotion out in the streets there, if you hadn't heard.
Yeah, I saw him riding in.
Do you know what's going on?
she kind of glances out the window, which her window doesn't really look in the proper direction for anything. She can, like, but it's kind of in the direction of the hotel, which is next door. It's not too far away. Town meeting, I'm probably certain of. They hold theirs in the Cowtown Saloon, usually once a month. Let me wait for a ringing phone. Usually they hold their town meetings once a month, or I'm presuming it's with the hanging. They wanted an emergency session. So I'll be there when they start. Usual crowd will be there. Anybody in the town is welcome to attend if you want.
This might be an interesting sight to see.
Yeah. Sonny's geared up to go to work, but since it's this head of the cattle association, I'm sure work isn't going to happen today. Most people will be coming into town for this meeting, which I'm sure is a buzz in the town by now.
Yes.
So she will make her way over to that building and kind of hang out until that meeting starts, and just kind of listen to what the crowd's saying and what's going on. Just, I guess, out of curiosity, just to see what everybody's talking about.
Give me a cognition roll. With a 4. You hear a lot of mixed conversation, a lot of speculation, whether or not they're finally going to appoint a marshal in town, whether they're going to ride out and hunt down. They start to say something like that, and then with they quickly hush with a quick glance around. But you don't actually get any specific details, just a whole lot of gossip.
Yeah, that's what she's listening for. Gossip.
Yeah, people, they're still going about their business in town. People taking their children up towards the schoolhouse. It is a Wednesday now, I believe. So people, the people are heading to the general store to get some of their stuff. So the town bustle is still moving. This hasn't shut down everything, but people are talking a bit more. But you're only hearing snippets here and there. You do get the word of, you hear about somebody asking if Dawson managed to rustle more cattle, if that's what this is about. And then they're quickly, no, this is probably about the hanging. We gotta find out what's going on.
Again, she's not going to engage in the conversation. She's just listening to what people are saying. She's just here to find out what's going on, because she doesn't really care about that man. That guy.
You also hear a few words about wolves and several derogatory terms for sheep herders. People tend to spit when they talk about the damn sheep herders.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it. Nothing that really links anybody to anything in particular. What is Jalen doing?
Jalen probably woke up early morning and was using the new pocket change that he had to stock up on some, soap, beef jerky, basic supplies that he tends to run low on from time to time again. Also looking for work.
Where are you going looking for work today?
Start at the general store, ask at the church, ask at the stable. Those are 3 starting places. See if they know anybody that could use a hand moving furniture, putting up walls and timbers.
At the general store, which would be Bradley and Company. That store is on the corner directly opposite of the, across the street of the hotel and saloon. I got a few bags you can move. A stagecoach came in this morning and delivered a few supplies. If you want, there's a pile of stuff sitting right inside the front door. If you don't mind taking that stuff to the back for me.
Yeah, I'll help him out. I'm not looking, by the way, for long-term employment. Just some short-term jobs right now while I'm in.
I think most of them figure that.
If I do hear word of the meeting, I will attend.
Oh, you hear word of the meeting. People are talking about that. Ira, who's head of the Bradley and Company General Store, is talking to his son Anthony about, the meeting's starting probably, still early. They don't usually start before 9. Why don't you go over there and find out when it's starting so we know when to close up and head over. Uh, John, was it? He looks at you.
Jalen?
Jalen. I saw you speaking some words at the gravesite last night. Did you know the man?
I worked with him for a short time out on the ranch, but I didn't know him that well.
So you don't know anybody that'd want to hang him? Shame that.
Not in specific. I knew he was a little abrasive, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did rub some people the wrong way.
Yeah, he did have a mouth on him, but most people knew it. He didn't. I don't know. Not something we want happening in town. And nobody saw it happening either. That's an odd one. There's a lot of eyes on that tree, so to speak, or rather, it's in view of potentially a lot of eyes.
Yeah, I don't know what can be done until somebody says something, provides some kind of information about what might have possibly happened.
And give me a cognition roll.
Nine?
He seems to be quickly glancing when he's saying that. When you're talking about, until somebody says something and stuff like that, not happening around town, he's glancing to the sides. Very quick glances. If you want to try to read him, it'd be a scrutinize. But you do notice that there's some, he's not looking you straight in the eye. And you've dealt with Ira a lot. He's, pretty stand up. He'll look at you when he's talking to you and stuff, but he seems to be a little edgy.
I think I subtract 4, right, if I don't have any levels.
Yes, if you don't have any scrutinize, it's 1 die minus 4.
Yeah, I got a 1.
Alright. So you don't really pick up the meaning for it. Alright, what about Father James? Alright, what about Evan?
He was talking to the sheriff. You know what? So, Sheriff, I was thinking about your proposition.
You gonna take me up on it?
Now, I want you to know I've never been any sort of a lawman before.
How good are you with that iron?
Eh, I can get by. I guess I'll do a bit more practicing with it if I need to. Um, but I count myself as somewhat smart. And maybe I can be of some help here.
Well, smart is useful. Smart gets you from not being dead, hopefully. Tell you what, after this meeting this afternoon, if there's time, we can go out of town a little bit and I can take you shoot a few targets and I can get an assessment of your skill.
Sounds
But
fine to me.
in the meantime, I think we could definitely use the help. She kind of starts going through a few drawers and pulls out a star. She hands it over to you.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the favor.
And then she pulls out a Bible. All right, I gotta swear you in. And she goes through that process.
All right, no problem.
LP.
Well, as everybody is getting ready to set up this town meeting, apparently in the confines of the hotel proper, he's going to take one of those tables that have been helpfully pushed up against the edge, and he's going to sit and watch the developments as they develop.
All right. They have set aside. They've cleared out a big space in the center, and set up a few tables there so that the almost like a I don't know what's the word, like a city hall type meeting. They have them lined up on one end so that the council can be sitting there looking at everybody else in the town, and they're starting to move chairs out into the openings, and the tables are indeed on the edge so that they're out of the way. But you can pull a chair over there for, people are doing that for now, as they're
Glorious.
putting them back afterwards.
Well, LP will grab himself a chair, kick his feet up on a table, and light his pipe back up and see what he can hear as everybody's getting ready. Since apparently we have some very important people that are going to be firing off a lot of words.
A young lady walks up to you. Uh, can I get you a drink, Mr. Calloway?
Yes, a drink would be fantastic. Um, let's start with a little bit of coffee and a bottle of whiskey if you have it. Yes.
Okay. This is, you know her, you've been in the hotel enough. Lynn Hicks. She is a saloon gal at night, or one of the dance hall girls, rather. But during the day and early on, she helps by serving customers. And she goes over and gets some coffee and brings a bottle of whiskey. 10 cents, Mr. Calloway. Or should I just add it to your bill?
Oh, darling, please do. That would be wonderful if you added it to my bill for the day.
Okay. And she doesn't seem timid so much as just a little tired.
A long evening last night, I take it.
Yeah, Cynthia wasn't around, so had to work a little extra. Long night.
Oh, did anybody hear where she might have gone?
No, she should have been here last night.
I see. Now, perhaps she was scared off by the fusillade of gunfire.
That might be it. Well, I gotta see to other people. Good day.
Yes, of course. Have a good morning.
And the older gentleman with the gray mustache walks over. I've been told that you saw the body of the young man that was hanging.
Why, yes, I did.
He thrusts out his hand. Stapleton Lowell. And you are?
Leander Calloway. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He shakes your hand with a firm grip. Not one of those overly firm trying to prove anything, though. What can you tell me about the gentleman? He wasn't my employee per se, but being in the business together, I'm wondering if he was maybe being targeted because he worked on a ranch.
Well, if I had to say anything, it wouldn't have been because he was working the ranch, but because he was a bit of a curmudgeon. He was not well liked amongst the people of the town, but whoever did it made sure he was strangled until dead before he was strung up upon that tree yonder.
It's just terrible.
I do agree. Now, the other thing that I had discovered during my investigations yesterday was that he was killed some distance from Liberty and dragged all around the perimeter of the town until he was strung up upon that tree.
You don't say.
I do say.
He kind of looks around. Why haven't I heard of this yet?
Well, that would be because that particular revelation was kept private until just now.
You're the only one that knows.
Oh, I am not. There are two others that know that I can name offhand. Well, one I can name offhand. I have not learned the other gentleman's name yet.
And who would these others be?
Well, that would be the sheriff, of course.
He was looking very angry until you said that, and then he kind of looks a little resigned. Yes, I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet. I was going to wait until this morning.
Well, yes, I do understand, sir.
Whereabouts? Would you have any problems leading one of my men there?
Well, I don't know, Marshal, would I?
Probably not.
No, I don't suppose it would be much of a burden to lead one of your men to the supposed side of this man's unfortunate demise.
I'm curious as to where it happened and what may be nearby, so maybe this afternoon after the meeting, if you don't mind.
Well, as God is my witness, you will find me sitting here in this particular spot until your affairs are complete.
Thank you, thank you. And then he kind of turns and starts shouting at somebody else, getting something ready and into position. Miss McBride,
Yes, Marshal.
where are you going?
Well, as the time draws closer to this meeting, I guess I'm gonna try to get inside and find me a good seat.
As you are going in, somebody is leaving. One of your fellow workers. Oh, Sonny, I was just going to. Oh, you're here. Needless to say, we don't have to
Mm-hmm.
go out to the ranch today.
Oh, I figured, waving, indicating all the crowd. Figured not much work be done when it seems everybody's here.
Yeah, they got a few of the younger hands out watching the cattle out to pasture, but nothing major for today.
Good. I could use a day off.
Yeah, me too. I just don't know if I want to stay in here for this meeting all day.
Well, you never know what you might learn.
Yeah, you got a point. Mr. Campbell's inside anyway, so we best bet getting back in.
Yeah, no, I'm going in. I want to find me a good seat so I can watch the happenings.
Father James, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, what is Father James doing?
Honestly, all he's doing right now is he's going over his Bible and actually go see the Undertaker for the purposes of the dearly departed gentleman who just left.
The Undertaker's in there.
I'm just there to administer last rites and stuff of that nature.
Oh, by all means, Father, by all means. You going to the meeting?
I will after I finish this up. I'm not exactly a posse kind of person.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, it's a little early, but they do these monthly meetings. They might even decide
So,
to make you official.
oh, to be official, I need to do my duties, and well, this poor person's soul will not.
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. What I was saying was, I apologize, but I was not informed until this morning that this gentleman had passed. I happened to hear people talking about it this morning, and so I came here to administer last rites. With all the excitement last night, I didn't actually even come near the area where apparently he died.
Oh, well, by all means.
But to become official, what I was saying was, I need to do my duties, and this poor gentleman's soul has waited long.
Has waited a lot.
Has waited long enough.
Oh, yes, yes. I was going to come get you after we dressed him up. But since you're here, and they wait for that to happen.
You're not breaking up. You're cutting off like the last like couple of sounds off your sentences. I don't know, but when you have like a long one, or if you're just letting go of the push to talk a little early.
Ah,
Yeah, that's more like it, cutting off early. So he waits for you to do last rites, and then
and then yeah, I'll head to the town hall meeting. Get out of his way.
okay. He follows you though. He locks up and follows you, and give me a cognition check.
I was actually just about to ask him, is that I mean, I guess you're holding his belongings, but is that a common thing that you have to worry about around here? Someone taking his worldly possessions or?
No, not usually. But strange stuff has been happening, so you best, can't be too careful at the moment.
Oh, agreed. I was just curious. As you said, I'm pretty new in town. I don't know if this is something that's an issue here.
Yeah, you're still losing like the last word.
Oh,
Which is weird because I'm hearing them all. I'm hearing everything.
You are?
Yep,
I
I'm
heard
hearing
like
him complete.
I heard like not all of not.
Nope.
That is weird.
Yeah,
Well,
it's breaking up for me too. That's odd too. That's odd. Okay.
well, as I was saying, I just don't know if it's a common occurrence or not.
No, not usually, but strange things have been happening, so let's not be too careful. But I do have something to ask the sheriff, not the marshal. Oh, chat says you're losing your last bit of your word there too. So it's not just me. I'm not crazy. Well, maybe I am, but not that crazy. So yes, give me a cognition check as you get in and he ducks to say something to the marshal.
I got a 6.
You overhear a bit. Something about some money and a sketch, but you don't hear much more than that.
I'll just take a seat and wait patiently for the meeting to start. I'm not going to inquire any further because such matters do not concern me that much.
Sorry about that.
I'll clean up and head to the meeting.
I'm assuming I go with the sheriff at this point. To start with, but I'll probably walk the room a little bit after. 6 as well. Did you hear me?
So you
I
also hear the same thing about some money and a sketch. She doesn't ask much more yet, except she says something about can you bring them to my office after the meeting, and he agrees.
Hold on. I think I missed something. Who said that?
The Undertaker came over and leaned and spoke to the sheriff. Said something about some money and a sketch.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. I will ask her then. What was that about?
Apparently, our gunman last night had bit more money than one might expect on him, and a rough sketch of that young lady.
Hired shooter.
Indeed.
And somebody with some money to pay for him.
That's not a whole lot. I don't think there was anything implicating the person that hired them, but the fact that they were hired, something is definitely going afoul in town.
I'll look around the room. Do I see Sunny in the room?
Yes, you see her sitting with another young lady um, off to the side next to a well-dressed gentleman, um, maybe in his 40s.
Okay. I'll tell the sheriff. Maybe I will wander over that way and keep an eye on her. We'll see some reactions. Maybe we'll get something interesting.
At the front of the room, on the other side of the row of tables, there's a few people that some of you recognize, some of you know by name, but you've never met them formally. There's William Smith, who's the head of the Circle L Ranch, Charlie Pierce, who's head of Lazy 8 Ranch, Clayton Bowen, who's head of Froze to the Bone Ranch. There's also Henry Thorpe, who is the saloon owner. He's sitting back there. Doc Zachary Ross is sitting back there. Clement Marks, who runs the Frosty Gazette, the town newspaper, is sitting back there. And as Ira Bradley walks in with Jalen, Ira detours and goes and takes a seat back there. And there's one more empty seat. And 2 minutes before 10, another gentleman walks in there, and it's Lawrence Nichols, who is he runs the bank. And Lowell speaks up. We're here to discuss this hanging and what we should do about it. There's a bit of crime going on. I've just been informed that there was also a shooting last night. We have one dead body. We are looking to see if we could discover the identity of this person. And he kind of glances at the sheriff. Now, I know our sheriff is a bit short-handed, so do we wish to consider appointing a marshal at this time? And she kind of speaks up. I actually have a deputy now, so things should be getting a little better. Am I getting robotic?
Just
Every
every
now and
so
then.
often. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
every
often.
now and then.
You're fine.
I see. Well, if we don't get this settled, we might still have to do something. I know your county business does take you out of town from time to time. That it does. But until now, we haven't had that much crime of this nature either. True, but things are getting a little too strange around here. We also have to discuss the nature of... And he kind of looks around. And he looks at Father James. Father James.
Yes.
How has your congregation been going since you've arrived in town? And you have several people visit church Sundays.
Well, I do believe that I have a sizable membership from the township and the outlying farms and ranches, so I do believe that it's doing well.
Say that again. You got doing.
I'm sorry. I do have a large amount of
No,
the
you don't have to
congregation
repeat the whole
Oh.
thing, just the last bit.
doing well.
That way I have something to edit in there. I see. Anybody else have anything to say about our new father? He kind of looks around. A few people stand up and, oh yeah, he does a good job, Mr. Lowell. It's nice to have a preacher back in the church. Indeed it is. We've gone too long without a preacher. So there's no objections to making it official? No objections here. And he kind of looks around and other people start shaking their head. I see. Well then, I have a few questions to ask you that I have been given as sort of a gauge of your capabilities professionally. And he starts asking you a few, he reads off from a sheet a few religious questions about Bible verses and things like that. And this is basically a test of your skill. What is your rank in professional theology?
It is a 4. I'm sorry, it's a 4.
Okay. Do you also by chance have the edge of religious rank?
I do.
Okay. So after a few questions, they're more um, generalized knowledge things. Basically, getting a sense of what you know and stuff like that, and you seem to meet the requirements. Very well. Since there are no objections, and you do seem to meet the qualifications that we were left to ask on the replacement from the previous preacher, we have no problems with making this official and making your hiring official. Uh, After the meeting, we will make sure you get the keys to the parsonage. Thank you.
Thank you, kind sir. And I bow to him and the congregation, or the people present here, I should.
A lot of them are part of the congregation. All right, now the important thing. Uh, did anybody see this hanging happening? And nobody says anything. People are looking around at others in the room. Nobody saw it. Dr. Ross. And Dr. Ross, who is the dentist, stands up. Yes, well, nobody saw the need to fetch me right away, but I did manage to get a look at the body before he was buried. He was strangled some time before the hanging. The hanging didn't cause the damage around his neck nor the death. So somebody definitely wanted him dead well enough to I should say, wanted him seen well enough to put him on that tree after he was hanged, which is a very, very godless deed. Indeed. And was there any evidence as to who that might have been? Uh, None that we have been able to find. There's been a bit of an old rope that was still left on the body, but that didn't say anything one way or the other. I see. Alright, so we have a murderer with no evidence. Nobody saw it happen. I propose that we mount uh, a posse to patrol the town to keep an eye on wrongful deeds that may be going on. Perhaps if this had been done yesterday, we may have been able to find out who these shooters were last night. A few people kind of murmur about that. And then somebody walks in from outside. He looks very, very travel worn, sweaty, as though he's been very active recently. And he walks up to the table and kind of interrupts Mr. Lowell mid-sentence and kind of leans over and says something into his ear. I see. I apologize, everybody. I must be getting back to my ranch. It seems something has happened to one of my employees. Dr. Ross, will you please accompany me? And a lot of people are starting to look a little curious at this point. Uh, what about the meeting? Uh, the meeting is adjourned until further notice. And he starts to walk out. Well, that's odd. That they usually don't end the meeting early. I wonder what happened, says somebody from one of the chairs next to you guys.
Maybe they're having a meeting to discuss the meeting.
Something. I'm gonna walk over to the sheriff.
She is standing up.
That was a bit of a weird ending.
Sorry, she is standing up as you're walking over to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll say that was a bit of a weird ending.
Yes, it was, and it doesn't look good. Mr. Lowell, and he stops. Miss Dale, you should accompany me too, I think. Yes, I think I will. And she turns to you. Well, might as well start sometime. You have a horse?
You have a what? You got cut off.
Do you have a horse?
Oh, wait. Do I have a horse? I just didn't even think about it. Wait, I bought a horse earlier. Yeah, I think I did have a horse, didn't I?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. No, actually, wait. No, by the time he ended up in town, I think he went with like a caravan or something like that. I don't think he was on a horse. So no, he doesn't have a horse. Okay. Actually, never got around to getting one since I got into town. I suppose I could.
Jalen calls out a little bit and says, "Hey, is it about that feller that got away last night?" Well, I mean, yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it?
It was last night.
It was last night because it was getting dark.
Yeah,
that's what
I thought.
Mr. Lowell stops and looks at you. Fella that got away? I don't think so.
One of the shooters was hurt.
Was he now? I don't think this is related, but it might be. And the sheriff looks over. My deputy doesn't have a horse yet. Do you mind loaning us the use of one of your, or can he ride in your carriage? Yes, yes. I'll catch up with you. Evan, why don't you ride along with him? I'll catch up. And he goes out and starts to get into his carriage, and he'll let you in.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I'll be getting a horse rather soon, I believe.
What about the rest of you?
Is the meeting over?
Yes, the meeting is adjourned.
Then, yeah, walking out, and since I have rest of the day, I guess. I don't know.
Actually, I will be right back.
Free time, what do you do with it?
What does she do with the free time? All she does is work all day. Dang. What's at the theater?
This early in the morning? Nothing.
Well, the meeting started at 10. How quickly did it end?
It's about 11 now.
Fine.
They had a lot more to go through, you guess, by the seriousness of everybody that was there. The gentleman that came in is sitting at the bar, though.
All right. Let's go to the bar.
He seems to be catching his breath and waiting for a drink.
Order a drink and just look over at him and says, "Are you okay, sir?"
Oh, yeah, just had a hard ride getting here.
What was the rush?
Oh. Steve died. Had to tell Mr. Lowell. Figured he'd want to know.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your friend Steve. How did he die?
I don't. And he gets a quick look on him, and he dives for a spittoon and starts to vomit.
Oh my.
I think that poor man has the consumption.
Well, you would know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, I'll kind of just wait for him to gather himself, and if he's finished his drink, I'll be nice enough to order him another one. And then, when he's collected himself, so how exactly did your friend die?
I don't rightly know, but it was bad.
Oh, okay. Sir, I'm trying to give comfort, but you're really not making it easy. When did your friend die?
He seems to get that look on his face, like he's maybe gonna retch again, and he forces it down. Sometime overnight, I guess. I found him this morning.
No. Well,
And then he kind of holds his hand
um,
up and goes back to the spittoon.
Would it be too much to say that LP overheard that?
I don't think it'd be too much to say. He wasn't trying to be discreet about it. And his retching in the spittoon is definitely drawing attention.
right? Yeah.
Well, at the second round of retching, a sound that LP is no stranger to, he will amble over with his half-finished bottle of whiskey and his empty coffee cup. lean heavily against the bar as the man continues to fill the spittoon. Now, if I was a betting man, and I am a betting man, I would believe that when you found your friend, it was a surprise because you heard nothing previous to that. Would that be correct in my surmising?
Yeah, we didn't hear anything.
And judging by your loving embrace of that spittoon there, I believe that it was rather graphic, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
And so now we have two peculiar murders in the span of 3 days where nothing was heard and the bodies were presented. So it's and now
Oh,
the sheriff.
I don't know about presented. We found him in bed.
Hmm?
He was supposed to be one of the ones that
What?
took the cattle out to the field today, and he didn't show up after everybody came into town, so we went looking to see what happened to him and found him in bed, blood everywhere.
Well, how did he die, though?
He kind of holds his stomach and looks down at it, and I looks like he's gonna get sick again, so he stops.
Did it look like a wolf got to him?
Maybe if the wolf, I don't, yeah, I don't know. He had a big hole in his stomach.
Somebody's going to look at the gentleman that's now also questioning this young man. It looked like a gunshot, and your friend
No gunshot
sometime
I've
over
ever
the
seen.
night? No gunshot you've ever seen. Well, Liberty's become a very dangerous town, considering we've now had 2 murders and an attempted murder.
And when one self-defense shooting, if my memory serves, miss.
Well, I don't count that one. That was in self-defense.
Well, yes, but it is a strange happening.
Mm.
My manners seem to have fled me. My name is Leander Calloway, recently of, well, never you mind. I notice that you have been a figure of some repute, miss.
Repute? Well, I'm Sunday McBride, but most call me Sunny. And I don't see how I am a figure of repute.
Well, Miss McBride, Sonny, pardon me, you may call me LP, by the way. You happen to see something on the ballroom floor just in time for a bullet to narrowly miss your guts. You gave chase to the rather ephemeral figure of a woman who then disappeared into thin air, being then replaced by 3 gunmen, one of which you have dispatched most expertly. And yet, you have had nothing to do with any of the strange happenings around this town. Now, if I'm a betting man, and as I said, I am, I believe your name is going to enter this hat once again when the posse returns from that man's ranch.
I didn't string up that man in that tree, and the only person I killed was the one that shot at me.
Now, Sonny, I did not say that you have killed anybody except the man that you have rightly shot in self-defense. However, Something seems to be a brewing about you, and I aim to find out what.
She's gonna level him with a hard look, finish her drink, stand up. There's no great mystery to me, sir. All I do is stay in this terrible town and work, sun up to sunrise. That's it. Ask anybody. So, how about you look at other people that might actually have done these horrible crimes? And she'll start to walk away.
LP will let her go.
At that moment, a lady, youngish lady, working out, dressed rather poorly, comes walking in. Her eyes are kind of red. Has anybody seen the sheriff? She's not in her office.
She just left, ma'am.
She left again.
Apparently, one of the ranchers needed her help.
But Freddie never came home last night.
Your husband, ma'am?
My betrothed. He said he'd be home a little late, but he said he'd be home. He never came home.
I'll help you look for him if you need. Where was he last seen?
She kind of motions off to the east side. Out at the tents. He said he was coming into town for business, for something, and that he wouldn't be too late. We have a tent out there.
Tell me, did Freddie have any other individuals that he was doing his business with last night?
He didn't tell me anybody else was with him.
I see. And
I think we're all kind of exchanging looks right now.
well, I wasn't.
Some are giving, some are taking.
He didn't happen to come into town armed, did he? I mean, it is dangerous and all, but one never knows.
No, Freddie doesn't have a gun that I know of.
Could you describe him?
Yeah, he's tall, brown hair, has he works with his hands, so his hands are rough.
I try to recall the clothes of the body that I helped take to the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any features that come to mind?
They were plain clothes, kind of on the not so fancy side, worn clothing.
I mean, like, did he have like a patch on his jacket in some location that I can use to identify it?
Oh, his shirts were probably patched up in places.
So in that case, I would say to her, did he have a red colored patch on the elbow, on the left elbow?
Yeah, he did. You seen him?
I'm sorry to say, ma'am. There was an incident last night. Perhaps you should wait for the sheriff to return.
What kind of incident?
Is the preacher still in the room?
I think so. Her eyes are getting wet.
Man, LP's going to take that opportunity to exit stage left.
Jalen's silent looking at the preacher for some kind of assistance here.
Nothing happened to him, did it?
I think he was shot, ma'am. I think it might have been him.
But 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 why?
There was some sort of incident. There was two others that were there at the time that ran away and left him behind. I took his remains to the Undertaker. So if you wish to go there, I'll accompany if you wish. Maybe see if that is him.
She turns and runs out, crying.
I better follow.
You follow. She doesn't run too fast, so she doesn't really leave you that far behind. But she definitely goes up to the Undertaker's door and starts pounding on the door. And the Undertaker, who didn't stay at the meeting long after everybody left anyway, is just opening up the door as you get there. Yes? May I help you? And she pushes past him. Yes? And then he looks at you.
I explain it to him.
Oh dear. And he turns and walks in, and she's over the body crying. Incoherently.
Probably gonna take a little bit for her to catch her breath, actually.
Yeah. Alright, so Evan is with Lowell. He's not saying anything on this carriage ride. He seems to be intently staring in the direction that they are going, like he wants this thing to move faster, but knows that it doesn't really. Not comfortably, anyway.
Did they say anything about what's wrong with your man?
No, except they found him in a pool of, well, rather
Oh.
messily killed.
Oh, so it is another death.
Yeah. They didn't say much more other than they found him in bed.
In bed. Hmm.
And the doctor is also sitting there next to you. Yes, well, could be any number of things. Any number of things that cause a hole in your gut? Yes, well, I guess it would be better to wait until I see him.
Hmm. I don't know if that would be the man I shot last night. I mean, that's a pretty good distance to travel with that kind of wound in you. If it was that bad, I don't think I'm not sure how hard I hit him. He ran shortly after I hit him.
Oh, yes, with the shooting last night.
Yes.
Lawlessness is running rampant in town these days.
Um, Mm, The sheriff and I have found a few interesting things going on with that. Not sure yet. We're still connecting clues. We'll put it that way. But we have found some evidence, at least. We are making progress on that.
I wish you luck. Anything that ends this faster.
Oh, with that, I do completely agree. Hence why I agreed to be your deputy. I saw the need there and the town's need.
Yes, as such, I think I should get to know you at least. What is your name, young man?
Oh, I apologize for not sure. I am Evan Stone.
Evan Stone. You're new in town, aren't you? It's not a name I recognize.
No, I'm mostly a bit of a traveler. Been around the country a bit here and there, so decided I needed to find a place maybe to call home, possibly. So was trying out the place and starting to like the town. And then all this stuff happens, of course, but it's still not a bad town.
He nods. Hopefully you'll do good for us.
Well, with that, I will do my best.
And where did Sunny go when she walked away? Is she still in the saloon or did she leave?
Um, no, she's still in the saloon. She just walked to a table, not at the bar.
Okay.
Yeah, farther away, just to stop interacting with the two, especially to get away from the vomit smell.
Mr. Campbell walks up. I'm gonna be getting back to the ranch. I guess I'll see you in the morning tomorrow.
Of course, sir. As usual.
Enjoy the evening. And he turns to the other coworker that's with you. Margaret, enjoy the evening. And he walks out. Several of the other people that were in here for the meeting are starting to, disperse now. What is LP doing?
LP is he walks outside just to see where the fresh widow is going, and once she disappears into the undertaker's office, he's going to turn around, go back into the hotel, keep some tabs on Sunny over there, but other than that, I'm not sure what else I can do. Oh, is the proprietor of the hotel there?
Yes, he's there.
I would like to go speak with him about Cynthia.
Okay. He is directing getting the tables moved back into place and stuff, shoving some of the big ones.
All right.
He stops when you approach, though.
Good afternoon, sir. I was speaking with Lynn this morning, and she happened to say that Cynthia did not arrive at work last night. Is that true?
That is true.
Is that out of sorts for her, perhaps?
Yes, it is.
I see. Uh, she wouldn't happen to have a gentleman caller that she walks out with regular, does she?
Oh, He kind of wrings his hands. She used to.
Ah, I see. That would not have happened to be Mr. Cook, would it?
Yeah, he came calling for her from time to time.
And of course, finding his dearly departed form hanging from that tree did her constitution no benefit.
Right. So she didn't say anything beforehand, but I kind of understand why she didn't show up last night.
Indeed.
I was gonna send Lynn to check up on her in a little bit here once we finish up.
If it pleases you, sir, I would like to go with Lynn as she is checking up on Miss Cindy.
He kind of looks you up and down, almost like that fatherly look. I suppose that would be all right.
LP will offer a wan smile, hide a cough. Thank you, sir. I feel it would be best if I paid my respects to Miss Cynthia today.
Very well. Lynn can show you the way. I can handle the rest here.
Yes, thank you, sir. I will ensure they are both returned to you without undue harm or stress upon their constitutions.
And Lynn kind of looks relieved that she's getting out now. She has a room over in the boarding house. I'll show you where.
Appeal nod, off we go.
All right, Father James. The meeting is dispersing. People are leaving. Jalen followed the crying lady to the Undertaker.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the Undertaker or the crying lady was happening at the saloon. I apologize. I misunderstood.
It did, and then she ran out.
Okay, hold on. I'm confused. I thought the meeting was in the boarding house, not the saloon.
No, meeting's in the saloon. Everybody was in the saloon.
I apologize. I was confused. I would have actually, since Jalen seems to be consoling the woman, I would have helped put the tables back, move things around, being helpful, basically.
They do appreciate it. Give me a cognition roll.
Apparently, I can find 6 today. Actually, I'm looking at it. It's a 6 and a 5.
Yes. It's not quite enough. You're hearing some snippets of something, but you're not making out some of the specific details. I don't know if you'd like to re-roll that or not.
No, I'm fine right now. It seems like there's enough rumors and other things going on that if they want to tell the new preacher,
Yeah, it's just two people as they're moving a table back into place, kind of whispering. One of them has the tone like, "Hey, do you remember when?" type of thing, but you don't actually make out what they're saying. All right, the carriage pulls up to the ranch. People help Doc Ross and Evan out, as well as Mr. Lowell. How many ranks does Evan have in cognition? What's his score there?
Cognition?
Yeah.
4.
Okay. One thing that is immediately obvious is that as you're looking around, people are not walking around alone. There's not a whole lot of work going on since the meeting was going on. You know, a lot of people were in town and are now arriving. But just for menial tasks, it looks like somebody's going to a well, which normally doesn't need help, yet somebody's with them. And as people are moving around, even now that it's, close to noon, there's a whole lot of glancing over their shoulder type of thing. It looks like people are just generally wary of something. They're worried or something.
Hmm. I'll look at him. Your people seem a bit scared, worried.
I noticed
This has
that.
got him.
And a lady comes running out of the house. Oh, Mr. Lowell, I'm glad you're back. This way. It was Devon. And she kind of walks into the house, and the doc follows him. I assume you do too.
Yes.
They walk into the house, and this house is nice. I mean, this is one of the bigger residences around the area. Lots of space, and it goes into a kind of a side wing that becomes apparent that this is like some of the hands, not the actual family or anything. And as you go down this hallway, the smell gets to you first. And it's not a smell that Evan is used to or familiar with, but it is very strong and pungent, and I need a guts roll from you.
Ew. Huh. I was like, where's my guts?
And I also need one from Mr. Lowell.
I got 5.
A 5 is enough. You manage to keep everything where it belongs as the smell overwhelms you, and the door is opened slowly, and the guts roll is enough to overcome this too. You see a body laying on the bed. The bed is completely red with blood. The floor is not so bad, actually. Surprisingly enough, it seems to just have soaked into the bed itself. And there is a body laying there. The sheet is pulled down. He is wearing his night clothes, and from his shirt there is a rather large hole, and in his stomach there is a rather large hole.
Wait, there's a hole in his shirt, and this is like his nightshirt?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. I will look at it. Well, I think that disproves anything of him being the guy from last night. I don't think he was wearing a nightshirt when in the middle of a gunfight. What is this?
The Doc Ross walks up to him and calmly kind of leans closer and starts looking at him. He checks a pulse. He lifts his eyelids. Gets down close to his mouth and nose. And then he does a rather disturbing thing in that he reaches his hand down into the hole and starts to feel around a bit.
Is that safe, Doc?
I don't see why not. Looks like whatever did this is long gone.
Hmm. So this hole, how big is it? I mean, obviously big enough to put his hand in, but is it bigger than that, or just about?
It's slightly bigger than his fist.
Is he dead already?
Oh yeah, he's dead.
I see. Hmm.
He's cold. He died, I'm guessing, some hours ago. Um, he starts to, like lift the body, roll it slightly to one side and then the other. Actually, less blood than it appears. It just looks like it's spread around a bit. Expression on his face is rather peaceful. It doesn't look like he was in pain, so he might have died
Been asleep.
suddenly or been asleep.
Yeah. I'm gonna look around the room. Does it look like something was forced in the room? Does it look like the door had been locked or anything like that?
It's hard to tell what the door was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm assuming there's no damage to the door. That's what I'm checking.
There's no damage to the door, no.
Okay. Okay.
The window is open. The shutters are open, rather, and the window is on, swinging panes, and they're open.
Okay. I'll look around the window, see if there's any signs of a forcing of the entry there, or even a blood, like an odd blood spot that's away from the scene, away from the bed area. That's what I'll be looking for.
All right, give me
Something
a
that might be.
cognition check. And this is probably going to have to be pretty high.
Is it? Okay. 16.
All right, that's high enough. Looking at the window, you happen to see that the curtains, or yeah, I guess it'd be curtains, seem to have a few strange holes in them and stress marks. Almost like the thread has been pulled out a bit, and the holes are, small, almost like button-size holes in a shirt. There's a few of those scattered around it. There is a small smear of blood on the windowsill. And on the outside, it looks like, looking at it, it looks like maybe something fell onto the dirt or the ground just outside of the window. But there's nothing there to indicate what it might have been.
How is it? Is this the second floor?
No, it's the first single
Okay.
story.
Okay. I'll look at the. What's the guy's name again? I forget his name.
Mr. Lowell?
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Lowell,
Yes.
I think I found something a bit odd. I wonder if our assailant, whoever it may be, came in through this window here.
He
And
walks over.
I'll show him what I found.
That is very interesting. And then the doc speaks up. Actually, I think in that case, maybe your assailant left through the window.
What do you mean?
Whatever did this was internal. His rib cage is broken and expanded, and the tear marks around this wound look like something clawed its way out.
Wait, what? Come on, Doc. What are you talking about?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look around. I recall hearing something about this. Something like this, but I don't remember where.
Like he had a creature inside of him or something?
Maybe.
That is disgusting. And not at all what I expected when I came here. Okay, well, I see, sir, your people are probably right to be concerned. Yes, you know what? You should keep them paired up for the moment, and maybe have them report anything strange going on as soon as they see it, and not to mess with it. If it's something like this, it's got claws, so that could be very dangerous depending on what it is.
I see. Uh, the window's open. You start to hear concerned shouting from outside the window.
Of course, it's going to happen before we get a chance. I will go ahead and hurry out to find out what's.
Mr. Lowell follows you. It seems that there is one of the younger members, probably a young man in his 15, 16-year-old range or whatever. Oh, Mr. Lowell, um, the one of the cows it just fell over. It was weird. They don't, but the other ones are spooked. They ran. So uh, um uh, Pete's out there trying to round them up. But the cat, I don't know. Something was moving.
Come on, you left the boy out there by himself. Okay, let's go. Show me where.
Who are you, Mister?
Deputy Stone. I guess that's what he calls himself.
Oh, he looks at Mr. Lowell. We got a new deputy. Uh, just show the man where it is. Oh, right, this way. And he goes running out, and Mr. Lowell follows him. And Doc Ross is probably coming up the rear slowly. And he kind of leads you. It's a good 5-minute walk, even at an increased pace that the kid has taken. As you get out into this field, you do see a small herd of cattle kind of off to the side with a young man standing over them, keeping them in line now. But the kid kind of leads you off to the side. It's over here. It was acting weird,
Can I see it
making
from
weird
here?
noise. You can see a lump off, yeah, about maybe 50 yards away at the moment.
I pull my gun. Stay here
Okay.
and find your friend. Is he? Do I see his friend
Yeah,
anywhere? Okay.
you passed him.
Okay. Good. All right. So he's safe. Okay. So I'll approach cautiously.
Okay.
As I approach, I'll look for any signs of clawed marks. I don't if it's walking, it's got claws, maybe something like that. Clearly, something different than cow food or blood marks. If it tried to attack the cow, maybe it's got blood on its hands.
No, you don't see any signs of anything leading up to the cow.
Okay.
But you do see the cow. It's kind of laying on its side.
All right. Well, it came through the stomach of the man, so maybe the stomach of the cow. So I'll kind of circle to where I could see the stomach of the cow with my gun drawn ready.
All right. You kind of circle around it. Mr. Lowell, did you tell him and the kid to stay back, or just the kid?
Yeah. I told them to stay back.
Okay, so he's staying back with the kid. And you are circling around. You see this cow kind of laying on its side. It doesn't seem to be moving. How close are you gonna get?
Okay, but I don't see a hole or an entry or anything like that. Like with the.
No.
Okay. Does it look like it's still breathing?
It's hard to tell.
Okay. Okay. So it's not breathing heavy if it is. It's hard to tell at the moment whether it is or not. Okay. I will not go directly in front of its stomach. I'll actually circle to the head, but where I can see the stomach, and check it. Let's check to see if it looks like it's still alive from its head.
All right, give me a cognition roll.
Okay. 13.
13. You don't hear breathing. As you look at it, it doesn't seem to be moving. The chest is not rising and falling. And then you hear a very subdued series of bone cracks.
I take a few steps back on this one. And I'm going to keep my target on the stomach, as that's where it came out last time. We'll see if it's...
All right. So you're sitting there with your gun drawn on it, and you notice first, like something poking from the inside of the neck, not the stomach.
Oh, the neck. Oh. That's a thin part. I wonder if I could just shoot from here. You know what? I might just do that. I don't want to see what this thing comes out as. Can I target the poking and try to shoot it?
You can try, yes.
Any negative or no?
No. Nothing disclosed anyway.
5.
All right. You fire off a shot and you hit the neck. There is a small splatter of blood. The cow does not react.
Okay. Does it
And at that point, something extends through the neck and pulls, and I need another guts check.
No.
This one is going to be at -2.
I will then I will use a white to give myself another die.
Okay.
Still holds at the -2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've already got one anyway, so. Oh, come on. I could continue to use a white, right?
Yes, you can keep spending whites.
It's still only a 4. Dang it. Let's see how many whites. I spent one. That was 2.
That was 2, yes. You can spend a red or a blue to add.
I've got a red. All right. I'll do. Oh, I got an 8 on it.
All right, you can roll that again.
Oh my goodness.
All right, you can roll it again if you want, but you don't have to.
That's just
You're at
okay.
17
I think
plus
it's
4,
a
21.
solid number.
All right. This is disturbing, but it doesn't disturb you that much, as these hooked claws seem to extend through the throat and kind of pull. And what you see is the biggest tick you've ever seen pull itself out of the throat of this cow. It's probably the size of maybe a grapefruit.
Oh.
And
Oh, I
it starts to kind of scuttle away from you.
oh, I want to shoot it. I really want to shoot this thing.
You may shoot it.
12.
12 is going to hit it. With its size modifier, a 12 is even going to get you a raise. So go ahead and roll your
Alright.
damage.
Lower guts.
Holy cow, okay. So you shoot this thing and it just explodes in a pool of, in a splatter of blood that it was, in its abdomen it was carrying, overstuffed, I guess.
Oh,
But you definitely end it. It's not moving after that.
I slowly approach it. Like, is there anything left of this thing, or is it is there a body still that I could collect
There's
if
a
I
part
needed
of a
to?
body.
Okay. I will yell out, "We're clear, but I need a bag or something to put this thing in." Actually, got a pot or something?
A pot?
Yeah. It'll probably soak through the bag.
I don't want to ruin a good pot.
That's true.
What is it?
It's a big
He
bug.
comes over and he's taking off his jacket.
It's a big bug. Like a tick.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I am actually curious. I think that we should have the doc check the rest of the cattle too to make sure. I'm not sure. It clearly the men have the man had it as well. Maybe we should find. I wish we had found signs of this. Um, Maybe we should have a discussion with some of the workers that worked with your man in there, find out what he was doing, and maybe have the anyone working with him checked out as well.
That's probably a good idea.
But I want to keep this for the sheriff to see as well when she gets here. But I don't want. Let's keep this. Tell them to keep this field clear um, until we get a better feel of what's going on. Plus, I don't. The rest of the cattle, I would that were with this one, I would keep separate from any other cattle groups, just to be on the safe side as well.
Right, I'll see to it. And he turns to start going, and you see the sheriff riding up towards you guys.
I waver towards me.
She looks a little confused as to why you're out here as she's riding up, but she dismounts. Well, Stapleton, I saw your man.
So I don't think this is related to the the incident in town, which is both good and bad. I don't know how you would describe that. Having two things to deal with, though, is kind of a mess. Um, eh, Take a look at this thing, and I'll show her the bug. It came out of the cow. Ag, I can't hear you if you're talking.
No, I wasn't. I was rolling.
Oh, okay. Oh, her guts check. Oh,
Now that it's dead, it's not quite as terrifying as it was when it was alive, so. Wonderful.
there's
Wonderful.
also there's also one of these wandering around because I don't think this is the same one that was in the boy on the bed. So one of these critters is wandering around.
Prairie ticks, wonderful.
What's a Perry tick? I don't think. Well, actually, have I heard of that?
No.
Okay. So what's a Perry tick?
She points at the bug.
Okay, fair enough. But do we
They
is there
are. Oh, we need to figure out where their nest is. Stapleton, find out where your um, man was out at.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
already.
they do travel, so that's no clear indication, but it gives us a place to start.
So I'm guessing they implant their young in people and animals.
She looks kind of resigned and frustrated. They
You cut off.
they kind of emerge from their nest at the sounds of activity, cattle, horses, and then they try to get inside you.
Hmm.
They drink up your blood and then take it back to the queen.
That does not sound good.
No, it does not. If it's a small nest, it might be containable. If it's a large nest, we have to prepare for more casualties.
Do they have signs? Is there treatment if they got one inside of them?
Yes, there is. I don't think we're equipped to handle it. I'll have to check at the general store. Uh, it's only rumors now, but they say castor oil will force it out, but it's not a pretty sight.
Hmm. Well, I guess we should get as much up here as we can to treat anyone. Um, are there any signs like beforehand, like a fever or anything like?
No, but she kind of looks, kind of shrugs, and it's kind of hard to miss them getting inside of you. They go, they I think they crawl in through the mouth, so anybody would know that happened to them, unless they were asleep at the time.
You mean, but there's little ones then that crawl into the mouth, and then they get bigger as they stay inside you.
Oh yeah.
I see. Cattle, sadly, may not notice it as much.
I have no way of alerting anybody.
Yeah. Well, I told him to make sure the cattle that was with this group is away from the rest of them, just in case, and we'll
That's
have to keep an eye on them.
probably a good idea. Quarantine your cattle, Stapleton. Yes, Miss Dale. I already planned on it.
Let's. I was gonna go talk to his men that were with him, and maybe we can get an idea. So I'll do that. Not sure what you wish to do with that.
Best burn it.
All right.
All right, back at town. The lady is kind of a little bit more calm now. Still very distressed and very crying, but she has come to accept the fact that her Freddy is no more. How could anybody do this to him?
You're gonna have to talk to the sheriff about that. You can talk with the pastor to arrange ceremony.
Oh, okay. but I don't want to leave him. And the Undertaker is kind of looking a little put out. Kind of unsure what to say and what to do, other than just kind of like, okay, yeah, don't leave him then, All right, in the saloon then. Jalen and the distraught young lady have not come back. So LP, what are you doing?
LP was waiting for Lynn, and they were going to go to.
That's right. You were going to the boarding house.
Yes.
You guys are getting to the boarding house. She walks in, goes up to the second story, down to the hallway, and knocks on the door. This is her room. Cynthia. Cynthia. And she knocks again.
I suppose it is time to try the door.
The door has a simple lock on it.
I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any lock picking. Suppose it's time to find the proprietor of the boarding house and see if they've got a master key.
You think something's wrong with her?
Well, if she did not arrive back to work last night, and she is not answering this morning, and we have had several instances of foul play, yes, something may be up. So, if the proprietor does have a key, I believe it is time for us to investigate if she is just so distraught she cannot hear your calling, or if something more sinister has occurred.
Oh, I think Holly's downstairs then.
Then let us go find him.
In fact, Holly is downstairs.
Yes, I require a key for entry into Miss Cynthia's room. You see, we are trying to find her to offer our regards since it was her betrothed who was hanging from the tree yesterday. And she is not answering. We fear the worst.
Oh. Cynthia? Oh. Yes, okay. Um, she kind of goes into a back room. Comes back out. Yeah, I'll open the door and check.
Yes, please do.
Lynn, was everything all right? Yeah, she didn't show up after John. Oh, that's right, John. I didn't think about that. And she kind of, is talking as she walks back up to the door. And she opens up the door and opens up the door for you guys.
Well, I would like to take a look inside.
Inside is a small room with a lady sleeping in a bed, kind of bundled up, I guess. Kind of rolls over as the door is opened up and go away. And she kind of turns over.
I can see her face now?
You can, yeah, no, she turns away. She puts her back towards the door.
Miss Cynthia, Lynn is here to speak with you. And also, I wish to speak with you in regards to your betrothed, if you have the time.
I don't want to talk to anybody. Go away.
Now, I understand this is a very trying time, but unfortunately, there may be something worse going on, and we wish to inquire as to the status of your health and your demeanor.
She reluctantly sits up, holding a blanket to her, and puts her feet out of bed. And she raises her head and looks up at you, and her eyes, I mean, are just bags under her eyes. They're red. She looks as though she's been crying. What do you want?
I wish to know about your betrothed.
What is there to know?
Everything, darling. I know nothing of the man.
She kind of sniffs. There's nothing to know anymore.
Does she look familiar at all? Was she holding a rifle and pointing it through the saloon door last night, perhaps?
Nobody saw her holding a rifle pointing it through the saloon door.
Okay.
She is familiar to you, though. You do remember her screaming when you walked out that morning and saw the body.
True.
She does have blonde hair, coincidentally.
Now, as I said, darling, I am very sorry to hear about your husband-to-be. Can you tell me, where were you yesterday after discovering that grisly scene?
I was here, crying.
Well, then certainly you must be famished, dehydrated. You must need some food and water.
I don't want to eat anything.
Now, darling, I understand you do not want to, but I believe you need to. Even Lynn here would agree with me on that.
Oh yeah, he's right. You need to take care. You can't just sit here and it would never work. I don't care.
Take a quick look around the room. What have we got in here?
In here, you have a wardrobe on the side. There is a full-length mirror on the one of the walls. It's a stand mirror, actually, next to the wall. The window is closed. The curtains are drawn. There is a stand with a few little knickknacks, collectible figure type of things, you know, ugly things, but they're sitting there. Some boots in the corner, some nice shoes in the corner, a wash basin. Um, the clothing that you remember her wearing yesterday when you saw her is just kind of in a heap on the floor.
Okay. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Miss Cynthia, I don't mean to be untoward, but I did come from the hotel, and the proprietor is very worried about you. When do you think you will be able to be seen about in public again?
Now, that's a hard one to answer.
I'm full of hard questions.
I don't care if I'm never seen again. Johnny was everything. We were gonna leave this place.
Really, where were you planning to go?
Virginia City?
I see. Try your hand at silver mining, perhaps?
No, he didn't like cattle. And the cattle's all there is here.
Well, it seems fairly odd he would be so integral with the dealing of cattle and not liking it so much.
That's probably why he didn't like cattle.
And you were planning to leave soon, I take it?
She shrugs. Soon, when we could save up, wasn't happening soon enough.
Well, then, he wouldn't have happened to have gotten with any trouble with money lending, would he?
No, you didn't have money trouble. Gambled some of it away. Lost quite a bit the other night. I wasn't too happy about that. But in
No,
general, no.
And he did not take his rooms with you? He was quartered at the ranch he worked at?
Yeah. He stayed here some nights, but he stayed at the ranch.
And was he to stay with you the night before you found him?
No, we didn't have plans that night. She kind of rubs her eyes, looks up at you. Who are you?
LP will offer a wan smile and hide his face behind his hand for a second as he coughs. I'm just a concerned man about town, Miss Cynthia.
What's it to you? Did you know John? I don't remember him mentioning you.
He was merely a man that I saw hanging from a tree, and that piqued my curiosity. And as there are several events transpiring about town, I took it upon myself in my idle time to see if I could at least unravel one of the mysteries befallen Liberty, Montana.
I see. Well, since it's clear you're not gonna leave me alone, uh, would it help if I told you I will get dressed and go to work? Will that get you to leave me alone?
He'll smile again. I do believe it would, yes.
Fine.
Tip my hat to her, tip my hat to Lynn, and I'm heading back to the bar.
She's like staring daggers at you as you leave.
If she looks very closely, she might be able to see that I don't care.
She might. And a moment after you leave, Lynn follows you, and you do hear the sounds of activity from inside the room as you're leaving. Well, that went well.
I suppose it did.
I hate to see her that way, but she can't just sit there and do nothing. She just wastes away that way.
Yes, and that would be a tragedy. At least this way, she may find a way to move on. If not for Johnny boy, at least for herself.
Yeah. I don't know what she saw in him.
Well, what does anybody see in anybody else? There is a spark of mystery within the breast of every man and woman that can only be seen by one other. And apparently, she had seen the spark of mystery within.
All right, who is still in the saloon?
I believe that Father James still is, because he was helping
And
clean up.
Sonny is. Yeah.
All right, both of you make me a cognition roll.
I am cognizant of all.
I love being oblivious.
And you are very oblivious.
That is a 13 and a 7.
Why two numbers? I just need one.
I was just pointing out that I actually rolled high on both of them.
As the room is finally getting settled again. Furniture's back where it's supposed to be. People are starting to come in and order drinks again, and poker table is getting set up, and so a game is getting started. And two people are walking out, and Father James, you distinctly hear one of them say, "That's right. It was last month on the 17th that they found that man hanging." And we will end it there.
Okay.
Nice ending. I'm just very proud that I killed a tick. A big tick.
You killed a tick.
I
Very big
did.
tick.
Hey, I was trying to give this impression in front of the council guy that I knew what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to make this guts roll because I do not wish to puke all over the place while I'm right in front of the council. That would have
I'm
been
the new deputy?
highly, yeah, that would have been highly embarrassing. I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
No, I was saying that was a compliment. That was a very irritated tick. It was displeased that you killed its host.
Well, yeah, there's that.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed. We will do this again in 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
And I'll probably stick around for a bit if anybody has questions or anything they want to discuss or ask, things like that.
No. Unfortunately, I have to get going because I have to be up in a few hours.
Well, there is that, yes.
I can chill around for a little while.
I am going to head out. You guys have a great evening. I will talk to you, Joe, during the week.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I think that went rather well, actually.
I think so too.
I have a job.
Congratulations on the paycheck.
Yes. It doesn't mean it'll stop him from gambling, but at this rate, the problem is that while there's a whole bunch of this going on, no one's going to be wanting to gamble. So he's got to like clean it up himself, and then he can go back to gambling. That's all good. There's motive involved.
See
He
if
was-
anybody
he-
still hanging out has any questions or anything like that they want to discuss too.
Yes. Any questions?
We're still young. The questions may come later.
Yeah, I surely was not expecting giant ticks. That was an interesting twist.
They do happen. And they are a pain in the gut.
Clearly. Look, I think his first day on the job, he's doing pretty well so far.
Oh, I forgot to give bounty out. I need people to remind me to give bounty out next time.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you said we can spin chips and stuff at the end of a session, or no?
You can trade them in, yes.
I wonder if he'll get because I could get another point in shooting since he's getting better at it. He shot twice this session. You see, it's a skill.
You can trade in a white gets you 1 point, a red gets you 2, and a blue gets you 3.
I got 1 red and 2 whites left.
And on the character sheet, there's room for unspent and total. You don't have to keep 2 running totals if you don't want. I guess that's just, some people might.
Right. It's not. There's no like training time or anything, right? It's like once I use it, I can just put it in, right?
Yeah.
Or is there a training?
No, in between sessions, you are allowed to raise anything by 1 point, 1 step.
Okay.
It helps if you've actually used it or have a reason to raise it. Like if you've never swam anywhere in your life and you're coming up to a river next session, it doesn't make sense to just, suddenly I can swim. So if you don't have the skill, at least try to go through the effort of trying to learn it before you actually put points in it.
All right, I see.
Make a few of those unskilled rolls or actually seek people out to give you pointers and tips and, stuff like that. But there's no official training time.
Yeah, I think he's starting to see the usefulness of his gun. He doesn't use it very much before. Like his dad taught him how to use it, but he's never really shot it at anyone.
Yeah, and you don't want to soul blast a tick in front of people.
No. Yeah. I was like, and it was like that was gonna be hard to explain. Why do you just keep your deck of cards out and just stare at the tick while like what do you do to the tick? That might look highly suspicious. So I figured he has to look like a lawman and pull out his gun and use it. So that's what he's gonna do. I might trade out the red and put a point into his shooting and into his guts since he used both. He's getting tougher on that.
Yeah, a red will get you 2 points. You had 2 from last time. What's his guts at currently?
Just a 1.
1, so it'll take 2 points to go to 2.
Oh, is that what it does? I see. Okay.
Yeah, it costs as many points for aptitudes, skills. It costs as many points as the rank you're stepping up to 5. Once you get to 5, 6 and beyond costs twice as much.
Okay, so it would take 3 to get his shooting up to 3. I see.
Yeah, if his shooting's a 2, it would take 3 to get up to 3.
But you you didn't give us any points for the session, though, did you?
No, I'll do that at the beginning next time.
Okay, so what I will do, let's do this. So I've do 2. I had 2 last time, which I did not spend yet. So that would be 4. So I'll put the shooting up now, and then I'll deal with the guts later. And I'll keep the 1 point, unspent at the moment. And voila! Look, his skill just went up. See, he's an official lawman now, shooting things and everything.
Works for me. Actually, you know what? I'll make a point in chat. I'm gonna give everybody 2 more.
2 more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like everybody had 2 after the train dream, right?
Right.
And then 2 more for 4 at the moment. Yeah, that'll work. Plus any that are converted from chips.
Actually, well then, good. I will go ahead and boost his cuts. Since he just, experienced something the doctor sticking his whole hand inside of a chest of somebody, the stomach of somebody, and then a thing coming out of the neck of a, he's handling himself quite. So still only 1 point left, but that's okay. Aha.
And you'll get grit as time goes on.
Yeah, grit adds to guts rolls. The reason you had the -2 is because there's a fear level. Fear levels affect your chances at resisting terror rolls.
Okay. Yeah, he was going to go down to the where under the window and like try to track where the thing went if I could find tracks or whatever until the call out to go out to the cow. So, but I realize now I have 0 in tracking. So
yeah,
maybe
there wasn't much of a trail because they're internal, so there's a little bit of blood as they leave, but the way they kill their victim is by drinking all the blood.
yeah. So he would have figured that out eventually. He just didn't know what it was yet. But I had fun using the chips though. That was actually pretty cool.
And Oz makes a good point. I forgot to give any after last session too, so make it a total of 6 plus any gained
So
from trading chips.
So 2 more from the other one, right?
Yeah.
So two from every session, basically.
So far, yeah.
So that actually gives me 3. Okay, so I have 3 left over.
And then as we get going, I'll start actually giving out chips for bounty instead of just points.
Oh, I didn't even have to trade in the red chip then. Now I think about it, because I actually would have had enough.
Should still be on the table. You can take it back.
Yeah, hold on to it then. And I'll bring myself back down to 1. All right, there we go. I'm still, if I don't use it next week, maybe I'll trade it in for something else. But that gunshot roll to the bug was quite impressive. 27 damage. That's what killed it like instantly. So I like. I think it seems like we get more exploding dice on the damage than we do on any of the.
There, I also typed out a basic advancement thingy.
Okay. Right. You can also push up the die, basically the die level of a trait, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But the rules still apply on that? Like, is it like 1 point to get to like from a D4 to D6 or something? Or what?
No, it's to raise the number of dice of a trait is 2 times what you're going to. To raise the die type is 3 times the new die type.
3 times the new die type.
Yeah, so D6 to a D8 is 24 points.
Oh, ouch. Okay, I can definitely see why that's going to take a while for some.
Yeah, they're more expensive because they affect everything under them.
Right. Yeah, luckily for the most part, because I didn't get any D4s, I don't think anyone really did. It'll be a while before anyone pushes.
Well, initially, it's more useful to fill in things you don't have, skills you don't have,
Yeah.
and raise your other ones to more usable level.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll aim to do, especially now that I'm apparently a lawman. Maybe I can I'll look at some of the other skills and see what might be useful.
I entered my wife's character onto the table because I was thinking about having her appear in one of the prologues. If I ever have time to get him. At this rate with school right now, who knows when that'll be. But just his skills, he's a monster.
Right. Which character is that?
The character my wife played in our previous Deadlands campaign.
Briscoe,
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, Briscoe. I mean,
Kelly didn't start out great at anything, but he became pretty good at some things.
Yeah, Briscoe, I mean, the character was experienced, but it was made fresh. It was made as a beginning character that just had the experiences from a previous game, but not the skills or numbers to go with it. But going through this, it's like there is a 5d8, 3d10. These are the traits. 4d10. And then 3d12, 4d12, 4d12, 5d12, 5d12.
oh my goodness.
I mean, these numbers are like hundreds of bounty points. I didn't realize that we had gone that far with those characters.
Yeah, that's the positive with starting out at having a few D12s, and you don't have to worry about at least that.
Yeah. And she took breaks. She split between a different character too because this character was rough to play all the time. He was a jerk.
I don't know. I think my character saw Briscoe mainly as an enabler.
Yeah, he was an enabler too. But he was a jerk. He would be the type that, when a character died and somebody else came in, it'd be like talking to the other people. Okay, how long do you think he's going to survive before he gets himself killed? In front of him. I got $20 that he doesn't make it a week. I remember when we first started playing, he said something similar to that about it was either Kelly or Rich's character too. And I remember the expressions on your face, but then when Ken joined, all of you were making the same comment about Ken. So that attitude rubs off.
Oh, I miss playing Kelly. He was so delusional.
Yeah, we don't have any mad scientists. Mad scientists are fun.
I don't think it had anything. I think his mad scientist was more of a side effect of the way I saw him as a character.
Yeah, but still the delusions. The spiders were out to get him. When a huckster suffers backlash, when they draw a black joker during doing a hex, they roll on the backlash table, which could be minor things like the spell doesn't work, or it hits an ally. There's different things. You take damage, you suffer. When mad scientists suffer backlash, they get a phobia or a fear or a madness of some sort.
Oh, that's a bit rough.
Not if you look at it as an opportunity.
True, but it will definitely do some alterations to a character's personality.
I don't think it actually affected his personality much. But then again, Kelly was rather, I don't know, a good way to put this. He didn't think reality was real.
I see.
The way I made my character is he grew up lame, and he escaped the Civil War by moving down south, where he was basically a blacksmith and worked in the shipyards and stuff, and had a wife in Brazil, and then she got what's the disease that makes you turn yellow and die slowly?
Consumption?
Consumption's more of a mild,
Jaundice?
but
Jaundice.
I'm
I
trying to
don't
think
think
of the
that makes you
term.
die, though.
This one is a liver disease. They test for it in hospitals even today.
It's like smallpox or something?
Got two types, A and
Hepatitis?
yeah, hepatitis. Anyway, so he sort of went a little nuts and started reading that newspaper that comes out of Dodge, and reading lots of those spaghetti westerns and stuff like that. And so he decides, I'll go join the fun. And so he travels out west into the western United States and starts running around trying to find crazy shit to get involved with, and then finds Briscoe. And Briscoe, every time you hang out with Briscoe, something fucked up happens. And Kelly is excited every time.
All right. Well,
I mean, seriously, the shit that happened to him just proved that he was right about the world not being real. I mean, he had a dream on a train with Briscoe, and he was no longer lame.
Yeah, Briscoe was one of those that blamed God for everything. All the bad stuff happening. Why are you letting people die and suffer and monsters run around? It's all God's fault. Until he finally met a messenger that's like, why isn't God doing anything? It's like, well, God puts people on this planet to work for him, so why aren't you doing anything? There was more to it than that, but that was basically it. It's like, you're blaming him for everything, yet you're not stepping up and doing anything about it. Yeah, those were fun characters all around. And the little stone cockroach figure that found its way into full whiskey bottles and drained them.
Was that Ken's or Rich's?
That was Ken's. Briscoe wanted one just for, small religious idols of different faiths. And Ken went in there too and was looking around one, and he got one that was tainted. And the taint was the fact that it drained whiskey, nearby whiskey. So he'd, walk into a bar or something like a saloon, and his cockroach is gone. Next thing you know, somebody's getting some whiskey, and the bartender picks up a bottle of whiskey that's empty with this little stone cockroach rattling around inside that is too big to fit through the neck. So they got to break the bottle to get it out. Now, how do you explain that to people? Oh, wait, that's mine. How did it get in the bottle? Don't know. Then how do we know it's yours?
Well, I think it's about time I go ahead and getting ready to sleep.
Yeah, me too.
So I will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Are